Hello, welcome to One-on-One. I'm your host, Greg Walker. I'm excited about this show today. We not only have a good friend of mine in the house, he's a good man. Howell Buff Albright joins us on our show today. He is the Deputy Fire Chief here in Clarksville. He's retiring July the 1st. We're taping this show May the 25th. He's had 41 years of service. He's been a good one, folks. We're going to talk to him and find out about his career with the fire department, find out about him. Settle back, relax, enjoy a fun, down-to-earth conversation with an interesting and fun gentleman. My friend Buff Albright joins us right after these words.
Thank you. It's the great savings event at Matthews Nissan in Clarksville or MatthewsNissan.com. $7,500 off a new Altima. $7,500 unbelievable. $6,500 off a new Rogue. $5,200 off a new Maxima. New Versa $9,999. Save big on $400 new. You're gonna love our prices.
I'm Gary Matthews, and that's my guarantee.
You're gonna love our prices. Matthews Nissan.
The Leaf Chronicle is now available on every device you carry or don't carry. All things Clarksville in all media 24/7. Subscribe now for full access.
For 100 years, Neil Tarpley Parchment Funeral Home has honored legacies. We believe every family deserves a special time of celebrating a life well lived.
Neil Tarpley Parchment, people who care, a name you can trust.
Welcome to our show. Deputy Fire Chief Howell Buff Albright joins us. Buff, it's a pleasure, man.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
Oh, that's great. Been looking forward to this. Retiring July the 1st, 41 years. Well, I tell you what, you've done a great job. I say that from my heart.
Well, I appreciate that. It's been quite a career for me.
It really has.
It really has.
And you always, I mean, when you were a little kid, you and my brother playing and all, and you really wanted to be a fireman.
You know, my Little League baseball coach, Sterling Blackwell, I don't know if you remember him.
Oh, sure.
Sterling,
you don't know that.
Sterling was my
Good
Little
man.
League baseball coach. He
Yeah,
was.
Indians.
That's right. And he was a firefighter, and he worked at the old firehouse on Golf Club Lane.
Uh-huh.
Right before you get to Mason Rudolph Golf Course.
Right.
And I used to ride my bicycle over there. It was very close to where I live.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd go over there and visit with him, and we'd get out back, pitch ball, and, you know, I'd hit, and he'd practice with me, and I got to hanging out. Well, I got to know most of the guys, you know.
Right.
And a few of the times I was there, the alarm would sound and they have a call, you know. Well, you know, the 12-year-old, that was exciting.
It is.
You know, and, well, I decided, you know, I think that's what I want to do. And you know what? I never did change from it. And, you know, when I graduated from high school, graduated from Clarksville High in 1972. And by the way, that year we had one of the best basketball teams.
Amen, brother.
I mean, in the history of the school. And what's sad is
Mickey Fisher, Lester Barker, Sammy Gerard, Dave Aaron. I miss Mickey Fisher, Dave Aaron, Sammy Gerard.
Willie Hamilton, Joe Barker.
Willie Hamilton.
And
Joe Barker. I said Lester Barker.
Yeah,
Joe Barker.
And the TSSAA, after all those victories, right at the end of the season, ruled that Willie Hamilton
was ineligible. Yeah.
And took every one of those.
Took 19 away.
And I mean, they were set to go to the state.
Oh, they beat the number one team in the state, Murfreesboro, that year at the Cat's Den by 22. You know how I know you're going to love this. That's the first game. I broadcast that game on a tape recorder.
Is that right?
Yeah. And do you know who my color commentator was?
Who's that?
My color commentator was Ernie, and the game was brought to you by Bobo's Garage on Greenwood Court.
Bobo's Garage. Oh, man. But anyway, man, that was a heartbreaker right there.
Yeah, it was. But you went to school a good time.
I sure did.
Did you go with the fire department right out of high school?
No. When I graduated from high school, I went to work for Clarksville Engineering.
Went for Vic.
Vic Albright.
Yeah.
And he had the contract out at Fort Campbell on the expansion of the airfield out there, Fort Campbell Army Airfield.
Right.
And then he also had the contract on the engineering work for the new airfield they built out there, Sabre Field. And so I was there with Vic for 3 years at Fort Campbell. And boy, he was a character.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Full of life.
Had him on this show.
Yeah.
Oh, he brought his guns in. He had machine guns. He pointed them to the camera.
Oh, yeah, he was quite a gun enthusiast.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I turned 21, the fire department called me and asked me to come to work.
You had to be 21.
Had to be 21, still do. And at that time, Finest Gray was the chief, and Charles Crow was the mayor.
Right.
And been there ever since.
Ever since.
And
41 years. I asked you this morning, and I wanted to give you a little time to think about it, because in 41 years, I mean, think of all the fires. Not only you've been on, you've seen, you've been around. And I was asked, what is the biggest fire in the last 41 years that you've been a part of with the fire department?
Well, I've been on several.
Yes, you have.
One that really stands out is the old Cumberland Wholesale that was located on Hyder Street.
Right.
And that building originally was a tobacco warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And the Gauchers had it, and they started a business, Cumberland Wholesale.
Right.
And oh man, it was a heck of a fire. All the buildings there on 3rd Street.
Had to worry about them.
Oh yeah, we had to focus on.
Because that's a big building.
Yes.
Also Franklin Street there, Reds and Eds, those law offices.
Right. Yeah, we was there for a while.
Yeah.
And thank goodness we kept it contained and prevented it from spreading, because that could have been the whole block on 3rd Street.
It really could have.
Could have went.
Because that building burnt basically to the ground, didn't it?
Oh yeah, it gutted it.
Yeah.
When we got there, and of course I was on the first truck to pull up, and we were there within 3 minutes, and it was flames shooting through the roof when we got there.
It was hot.
Yeah. And
everything they had in there just about would burn.
Oh yeah, yeah. Another fire that really stands out is Oregon's building material.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, that was in 1977, I believe it was, and it was in the summer, and a real bad electrical storm had rolled through.
Right.
And we had 3 major structure fires going at the same time. Bill Powers' parents' house got struck by lightning.
Right.
They lived over on Cedar Croft Drive. It was on fire. We had another house on fire out in New Providence.
Goodness.
Yeah, and then we had Oregon's, and I think it was probably hit by lightning too.
How many stations y'all have on
Well, I was fixed to tell you at that time, we had 6 stations, okay, and we had 4 stations committed on those other 2 fires, and then we only had 2 stations at the Oregon's fire.
Ooh.
Oh, and let me tell you, Greg, you had paint cans exploding.
I bet.
Propane cylinders. I mean, it was like a war zone down there.
Yeah.
And we were doing all we could, and I never will forget Mr. Jimmy Organ, told me, he said, Albright, you need to get some more help down here. And then I told him, I said, we got 3 fires going at the same time, Mr. Organ. you know, he just throwed his hands up, you know.
Yeah.
But we had to focus then, Greg, on preventing that fire from spreading to Clarksville Foundry.
Sure.
You remember Clarksville Foundry was down there.
Right.
It was all wood structure, and we were, you know, trying to prevent that from catching on fire. So, yeah, our hands were full that night.
I man.
Yeah, I watched the sun come up on that one. But thank goodness nobody got hurt.
Nobody got hurt.
That's right.
What causes most fires?
Most fires are caused by unattended cooking, residential structure fire, unattended cooking.
I wish my wife would listen to that real good.
Yeah, and electrical shorts.
Yeah.
You know, you can have a circuit overload, or people, you know, got too many appliances plugged in to one circuit, which can cause an overload.
Right.
You know, and then also arson is up there on top of the list as well.
Oh, Danny Perry retired. Boy, he nailed them, didn't he?
He was a good one. One of the best.
Yeah.
One of the best. He found his calling.
He really did.
When he got into fire investigation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buff Albright joining us on One. We'll be back with segment 2 right after this.
The Leaf Chronicle is now available on every device you carry or don't carry. All things Clarksville in all media 24/7. Subscribe now for full access.
Welcome back. Our guest today, Hal Buff Albright. I've never called him anything but Buff. Deputy Fire Chief, 41 years of tremendous service to the city of Clarksville. 41 years, retiring July 1st and deserving it. I'll tell you what else you deserved. And you got a really great wife. You know, I think the world. I love Jenny. And tell us about Jenny and your family, Buff.
Well, probably the best thing ever happened to me is when I met
pretty close
my wife Jenny.
Yeah.
And we will soon be celebrating our 36th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yeah. When we first got married, talk of the town was, well, she won't put up with him for 12 months. And here we are coming up on our 36th wedding anniversary. But got 2 children, son Adam and daughter Madeline. Adam graduated from Austin P and is in the hardwood flooring business. My daughter, she graduated from UT Knoxville, and she's out in Denver, Colorado. She works for the Bill Gates Foundation. Yeah.
Didn't y'all go visit her not long ago?
Sure did.
How was that trip? Good?
Oh, we loved it. Loved it. Denver is a nice place.
You know, you were telling me also, Jenny, y'all went to New York not long ago.
Right.
And was that your first time there?
No, that was actually, that was my 3rd time.
Third time there?
Yeah.
But y'all had a good time.
We had a great time, yeah. She was doing some consulting work there, and so she had enough points built up that I just flew up there to stay with her for a weekend, and didn't cost me nothing, you know, to travel. So we hit the town and had some good food.
What about that Italian restaurant? Was it good?
Oh, it's authentic, man. It don't get any better. Little Italy is where we went. And the owner of the restaurant, his nephew was having a birthday party.
Birthday?
And they were celebrating in the back room there, and singing and had a guy back there karaokeing and what have you. Well, I got to singing along with them, and cutting up with
our kind of music.
Yeah, yeah. And he said, "I tell you what, y'all." He came and brought a waiter and took our food back there where they were partying, and had us join his family. And those Italians now, they know how to have a good time.
I guarantee you.
Yeah, so it was really fun. It really was.
You had a nice trip.
But yeah, I tell you, Jenny, she has stood by me every step of the way, and it's been great.
That's great. What are you gonna do when you retire, Buff?
Oh, we're gonna enjoy life. Gonna travel, and we already got some trips lined up, and I'm just, one thing, it's gonna be great not to have nearly the stress that I've been,
It is a stressful job.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, any public safety position, people just don't realize, it's stressful. And
really and truly, and I know you know, but you're working in a political arena.
Oh yeah.
I mean, with change, there's always more change.
Exactly. And I would like to say this. I tell you, it's been an honor and a pleasure to work for Kim McMillan and her administration. She has been very supportive of fire and police, and members of the Public Safety Committee. Gino Grubbs, who's chairman of the Public Safety, very supportive of us in police, and we made some great strides in the last 5 years. I tell you, we're fixing to open up a new fire station in October that's under construction out on Tylertown Road. That will be the third new fire station opened in 5 years.
How many are we having now?
We will have 12.
12.
Coming in October. And we will, right now we have 220 personnel. And we're fixing to hire, if it's approved by the council, fixing to hire 21 more to staff the station that's going to open up out on Tylertown Road.
Do you feel pretty good that we have the city covered?
Oh, yes. Just to give you an example, when I started in '75, we had 5 stations, 69 personnel. Okay? The ISO rating, the ISO Insurance Services Organization, they're the ones, Greg, that come in and they evaluate your department and classify you.
Right.
And they look at everything from the number of fire stations you have, the population that you're protecting, a number of personnel, your equipment, your training, your maintenance. I mean, it's extensive.
Right.
And, we recently, our ISO rating was, and it ranges, your rating ranges, Greg, from 1 to 10.
10 the best.
No, 10's the worst.
Oh, okay.
1 is the best.
Okay.
Okay. Well, in '75 we were a 5. Okay. Right now we're a class 2. Okay. Yeah. There's only a handful of fire departments in the state of Tennessee that's a class 2. After we get this new station,
hard to get one.
Oh, it's only, I think, 4 fire departments in the state that's a 1. But what I was going to say is next year, after we get this new fire station opened on Tylertown Road, ISO will come back in and reevaluate us. And it's a possibility that we'll be a class 1. And if so, that's as good as it gets, Greg.
Right.
That's the best of the best.
Right.
And that also affects your insurance premiums, okay? The better the fire department is, the lower your insurance premiums are for your homeowners, your business owners, commercial, industrial properties. That's a big plus in bringing in industry. You know, you're trying to recruit industry,
right,
and they know that your fire department is one of the best. That's a plus.
Sure it is.
So
have to be.
So I'm proud of our department, what we've
You should be.
achieved.
That's well said.
Yeah.
Before we take a break, we got to say too, you're proud. Your dad, along with 3 other gentlemen, I know Johnny Maddox. We're trying to think of the other one. Well, I mean,
Johnny Maddox, Billy
Hickerson, and someone else started Little League in
Clarksville Little League.
They started it. That's that simple.
They sure did. And I'm going to tell you, my dad coached the first team in Clarksville to win the state championship, 1954 Cardinals.
Really?
Sure did. We still got the trophy. And I still remember some of the players on the team. One that really stands out was a kid named Dave Mason.
Oh, my God.
His dad had Mason's Garage. You remember that?
Hit him up on Madison.
He could hit them. Daddy said put them on Madison Street.
That's right.
And he was also a pitcher. And the only kid that could catch him was old Cherokee Jackson. You remember Cherokee?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Corky Albright was on the team. And I can't, I can't remember.
I know you can't name
But anyway, they won the state championship.
And started Little League. Think about that, and think what Little League is here today. I mean, all the different...
Court Park.
Yeah, that's where it all started.
Yeah, that's where it all started.
Buff Albright, stretch run right after this.
Thank you. It's the great savings event at Matthews Nissan in Clarksville or MatthewsNissan.com. $7,500 off a new Altima. $7,500 unbelievable. $6,500 off a new Rogue. $5,200 off a new Maxima. New Versa $9,999. Save big on $400 new. You're gonna love our prices.
I'm Gary Matthews, and that's my guarantee.
You're gonna love our prices. Matthews Nissan.
100 years, Neil Tarpley Parchman Funeral Home has celebrated legacies with services as unique as each life.
Neil Tarpley Parchman, people who care, a name you can trust.
Stretch run, our guest, Buff Albright. Buff is the Deputy Chief, Clarksville Fire Department. 41 years, retiring. We're going to miss him, I'll tell you that. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Well, Greg, I remember I was taking a leadership management class, and the instructor says, it's one thing I want to tell you young officers coming up through the rank, and that's ego. And said ego is good for the heart, and ego is good for the soul. But when that ego moves to your head, that's when you're going to start having some real problems.
Hey.
So, and it's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, that's just well said.
Yeah.
When you quit being you.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many
you hadn't changed.
Young officers that they get some rank,
yeah,
and they think, Lord God,
Yeah.
And
Colonel Klink.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the truest sign of success, Buff?
True sign of success? Well, I'd say being a good husband, a good father.
That'll do it. What characteristic do you admire most in a person?
Just someone that's themselves, not pretentious.
Yeah.
Yeah. That puts them on me when you have somebody that how they were raised, how they came up, and then all of a sudden they get a little success, and all of a sudden, their nose is straight up in the air.
Have you ever had a hero, Buff?
Hero? Well, I guess my dad was a hero to me. He was a good man. It was 7 of us kids.
I know. Living in that little house, we were raised in Old Town.
7 kids in a 2-bedroom house.
And your mother was a saint.
She was a saint, without a doubt. But you know, we wasn't rich by any stretch of imagination. But as the old saying goes, we may not have had all we wanted, but we had all we needed.
Amen.
You know.
That's well said.
So
let's get some favorites from you before we have to close. What's your favorite food?
Favorite food?
Because I know we love to eat.
You know, I guess my favorite food, you know, I love barbecuing and cooking out.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite pastimes, but I love barbecue ribs.
Boy, they're good.
Oh.
Woo.
Yeah.
Favorite drink?
Favorite drink? Golly. I guess Old Charter.
Boy, you told the truth. They can't say Buff Albright didn't tell the truth on that show. What about your music?
My music? Oh, I love the classics. You know, the old Beatles. I love Allman Brothers, Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
Marshall Tucker Band. All that. You know, that's that's
what we grew. That was our Cambridge days.
That's right.
What about movies or TV? You watch much?
Oh yeah. I watched a classic the other night, Outlaw Josie Wells.
One of the best westerns that's ever been made. I bet I've watched it 5, 6, 7 times.
Me too, and I never get tired of
it. I think it's one of the best westerns that was ever made.
Me too.
Golly.
Yeah, what a performance.
No kidding.
By Clint Eastwood on
no
that one.
Kidding. Is there a person dead or alive that you'd like to meet or have met?
Oh man,
that's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess one I would really love to have met would have been Mickey Mantle. You know,
yeah, he's a great role model.
Oh man,
for kids.
When I was playing little league ball, he was my idol.
Yeah.
You know, and I loved the New York Yankees.
I got you.
And Mickey Mantle, yeah.
It's been a pleasure, Buff.
Well, thank you, Greg.
I wish you well in retirement.
Appreciate that.
Thank you for your service.
Well,
you have done well. Buff Albright, I want to thank the one-on-one team of man Steve Sawyer, you viewers. Tell your friends, neighbors, and loved ones about it. And until next time, have a nice rest of the day, folks.